Welcome to the Service MVP podcast. And my name is Joe Crisara, America's service sales coach. And today we have a very special guest, one of the founders and owners and the CEO of Service MVP, one of my very, very best friends, my bestie, actually, somebody who is long overdue to be on this podcast. Her name is Julie Crisara. Julie, welcome to our show here today, and thank you for making it with us here today.
Well, thank you for having me on the show here today, Joe. I'm really looking forward to our discussion.
Yes, well, today is a very special day because, I think it's important that you get to put your vision out there because, you've always said that you're in the business of making stars, not being one yourself. And, definitely you typify that attitude because I call it servant leader, and that the fact that you make sure everybody has everything they need to do their job correctly here at Service MVP and all the contractors around the world too. Now, Julie, why don't you start? The subject that Julie's going to talk about today is a really important one. She's going to talk about how we can build the employee's brands, the personal brand of the employee within a service business. So if you're an owner, we'll show you how to put your employees in the forefront. And if you're an employee, to show you how to build your personal brand within your company. Julie, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about how you got started in the service business and why you're so passionate about doing service. Go ahead.
Well, truthfully, my family has been in the blue collar business, service businesses since before I was born. So it's kind of in my blood, really going back all the way to my great grandfather, who was a construction worker, had his own business out of the Chicagoland area, used to go and build homes and churches and office buildings, along with my grandfather, who worked with him too. And after all that, my grandmother decided to get into a service business too and started a cleaning business. She would go with her sister along after my grandfather, my great grandfather, and clean up all the mess that they made while they were there. So when people moved into these new places, a new church or a new office building or a new home, that it was nice and clean and they weren't getting a whole messy entrance, the first impression as they walked into these places. So from there, really, I've just always kind of been in there. I always kind of helped with the cleaning service, had done that for many years with my family from about the time I was 9, anything from cleaning people's homes to cleaning offices. I've been in retail and worked customer service, been in the HVAC and plumbing business with you for many years. And now, of course, Service MVP, getting to help not only service business in the HVAC and plumbing business, but electrical, roofing, solar. We're kind of spreading out, garage door, all these other industries that we're talking to, and hopefully being able to help them to discover how they can serve their clients, but also their own employees as well. And this is one of those subjects that I think is going to really help service their employees out there and get their brand out there at the same time.
Well, this is definitely a unique subject, Julie, because like I said, you're talking about here on creating stars in your company and making sure that people get acknowledgement, not just privately, but publicly. Talking about building your employees' personal brand. Julie, why is this such an important subject for you to cover today? And why do you believe in this so much?
Yeah, well, truthfully, I mean, there's no better time to talk about this right now. The way this particular month with March Madness going on, you have college athletes who have been for years saying that they deserve some kind of compensation for their stardom that they get out there. So going back to, the Supreme Court ruling in 2021, to the NCAA changing, getting rid of most of the restrictions on what college athletes can earn out there with their own names. And now you have actually 2 House bills that are up for review right now currently. So there's really no better time, I think, to even, begin to think about this, as I'm sure a lot of people have. And as I was doing a little bit of reading, there was a head of brand marketing, Sam Weber at Open Doors, who said for 99% of the players in this tournament right now, like this week as March Madness started, this is the most marketable they will ever be for the rest of their entire lives. This is the opportunity when they get to show themselves off, show their skills off, and there are businesses lining up in order to look for that star that's going to break out. Anyone from Dunkin' Donuts to BMW to, of course, going back to Cheerios or any Wheaties, every single company out there that has a product that they want to market, they're looking for these stars right now and want to pay them for their name and their brand that they have. So the opportunities for marketing employees really has never been better in our history at all, and can really benefit everybody, both the employee and the company in marketing your brand.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing about it. The rising tide floats all the ships, right? If you have star players on your team and you're able to promote those star players, well, the team looks like a championship team. So, Julie, can you tell us why building employees' personal brands is important, not just to the employee, but also to the business? Tell me some of the benefits that you can get as a business owner, like we've done here. You've done a great job here of making sure people like Danny or Mike Busher or Mike, people here who work here, you've done a great job of putting them as in the forefront of the stardom as well. Tell us why it's important to the business. How's the business benefit?
Yeah, well, building the personal brands for employees really can be beneficial in several ways, right? And it's truthfully, it's a work in progress, because even myself have had some doubts about things. So, but first, it can really help establish the credibility and the expertise of your business in the industry that you're in. So for us, as you mentioned, Danny with us taking over the live events training, doing total immersion, doing the performance coach training, doing the CSR and dispatch boot camp training. If we were going to have him take over, we had to be able to show some credibility there that he has. And it's turned out that by helping build his brand, by getting his name out there in front of people, that's the best way to do that. And they love him. I mean, the benefit has paid off to the extent of we have certain clientele like Peterman Brothers, who is asking for Danny to do all their training for the rest of the year here in our Los Angeles branch. So building that brand really is going to establish the credibility and expertise. Second, it's going to help retain those talented employees, right? Danny is a talented person. Mike Busher is a talented person. Michael Munoz is a talented person. I want to keep them. Shreya, a talented person. I want to keep them here working for us forever if I possibly can. And this is one way that we're going to be able to show them that we appreciate them, encourage them to grow and to develop within our organization. And those are just a few of the people. I say that because of the forward-facing front kind of out there, but a few of the people. And then lastly, really, I think it helps create that brand ambassadorship. I always kind of laugh at that word, the ambassadorship, because when I first started hearing it, I remember after hiring some people out here, a lot of them were brand ambassadors for different, different soft drinks or remember we had one employee who had a girlfriend who we were always getting different products coming into us because she was changing jobs on who she was an ambassador for. It was like yogurt one day and some kind of soft drink the next day. But that brand ambassadorship to really help promote your business and bring in those new clients. And there's really no better way than in being able to create these personal brands within your company, right?
There's the aha moment right there, right? Everybody, the golden nugget is that instead of having a watered down effect to say, hey, the whole company is an expert at something, it kind of waters it down. When you say this person is specifically an expert at this, what he does or she does, she's our customer service expert in a way. It holds a job standard that really the employee has to live up to. And number two, it tells you that the company's not afraid of making sure that you get to know our people, that our people we want you to get to know them. And we want to be transparent with the public. I think that's what everybody wants to know is like, who is the person I'm hiring to come into my house or to work with my team? I think you've done a great job with that, Julie. So
Well,
Julie, Oh, go ahead.
I'm
Sorry.
sorry, I'm going to add to that point there. I mean, that's a really good point that you're making there. And the truth is your employees are the ones who are right there in front of your customers. I mean, we know what happens when a customer complains. It always comes back to owners in the company, but the employees are the first ones out there in front of those customers, whether you're in a service business or you're in a coaching business like ours, they're the ones out there. So they're the ones who are forward facing the customers every day. And those customers want to know that these guys are experts. And I'm going to bring out a fifth thing there too, which I didn't really think about before until we just started talking about it. But at some point, if you're looking to grow your business, you can't do it all, or you're looking to sell your business. You can't do it all. Your business is worth much less if I'm the only person in the business who can do everything. So if Joe Crisara was the only person who could teach total immersion, really, I don't know that we'd ever be able to get out of it then at any point, or even pass it down. Let's say we wanted to pass it down to Wyatt. We'd never be able to even do that, because once Joe Crisara goes, there'd be no one else to continue that work. So it's so important to develop your people, to be able to have them, to give them these personal brands in order just to keep the business going on, whatever your end game is, whether it's to keep it, to sell it, to grow it, to pass it on to children, whatever your end game is. If you're not developing those people internally and developing their own personal brands, you won't be able to really do that effectively in the long run.
Amen. That makes basically there's a financial reason is the business is more valuable, and that's because when you have a team of stars, that's why the New York Yankees or those teams like that are the winning teams, are worth much more money than they get valuated as the other teams when they wind up passing it on to another shareholder or
Yeah.
whatnot. So
Yeah,
Julie,
exactly.
how can a business start building the employees' personal brands? If it is such a good idea to share that spotlight and put your team of stars in front of the public, how can we start doing that? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think the first step really is to identify the expertise of each employee, right? Each employee comes to us with some kind of a history, whether it's just their family history or their work history. I always think of Chris in this situation, our onboarding coach here, right? Chris came to us, and although he initially worked at a t-shirt shop, right, doing branding, t-shirts. He also had kind of a side gig doing his comedy on the side, right? He wanted to be a comedian, or at least, it was a hobby. I'm not exactly sure how far he was looking to take it offhand. And we're able to use that. We were able to identify it as he started working for us, that this was a huge strength for us. And him being able to come on, first what started as your assistant, right? But you had him kind of entertaining people when they would first get on the Zoom meetings, with you. Then we had him doing some filling in every once in a while. You had him do little segments here and there. He was emceeing at all of our, True Grit events over the years. Then, now to the extent of where he's the onboarding coach here and training other onboarding. He was onboarding coach and now training other onboarding coaches. And he's able to use that skill that he developed with comedy, doing his comedy, and use that skill with what he's doing right now, which is either onboarding clients or training other onboarders within our company right now. And it's a skill that is just, to me, always been amazing on how, I don't know how much time or effort he puts into the back end of what he does, but when I see him do it, he makes it look like it's easy, it was just like he was born to do it. So first step is to identify. Once you've identified these areas, you can really start to encourage your employees to create content around these topics, right? Such as, blog posts as kind of, possibility. Social media though, for sure. So I love seeing stuff. I love when our people are putting stuff on social media, on our page on social media, as well as their own page. And then you can also encourage them to speak at industry events. I know we had Shreya, who spoke at some industry events outside of Service MVP, but we brought our whole team to speak at the True Grit event that we just had, right? Because we wanted them, we want to try to help develop them, encourage them to get out there and be seen in front of our clientele. So, and then this, not only helps to build a personal brand, but also really helps to bring that recognition into the business that overall, everybody here knows the material, that if you have a question, you should be able to go to anyone here to ask it, or at least be able to be guided to the direct person in the company, right?
Right. Julie, what kind of specific strategies can a business do to build the employees' personal brands? What kind of specific strategies do
Yeah,
you
well,
have
one
around that?
strategy would just be offer the training and development opportunities for your employees, right? So to make sure that you're training, developing them in these areas to become expertise in certain areas. As I mentioned, even with True Grit, for us, when we started doing that last year, we started getting everybody involved. Maybe not in the speaking element of it. We had some people who were involved in it, but everybody getting involved in the actual escape rooms and the challenges that we did. And when they did that, that meant that they had to learn the material that we actually taught people at that time. So training, developing them, this is going to help them, of course, develop new skills and a knowledge base, which then they're going to be able to share with others. And then you can also encourage them to network, build relationships. I loved seeing how every one of our team members is able to talk and feel very comfortable with either, an event that we're at or the people that we bring here for our events. It's like, I can tell that either through osmosis or hopefully through the training that we're giving them, that it's really helping to increase their visibility and their credibility with our clients that we have out there and prospects as well.
That's really great, Julie. Is there anything else you could think of that, that any other benefits we can get from that we can see as part of the culture? What do you think?
Definitely. Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head there, because the other benefit really is creating that culture of innovation and creativity within your business. When employees are really encouraged to develop their own personal brands, then they're more likely to be engaged and be motivated in their work on a day-to-day basis, which of course is going to lead to that productivity and creativity. So, and it leads to them coming to us, with ideas or ways to put ourselves out there in front of customers. It doesn't mean everything has to come. That doesn't mean everything has to come for us, which is great because they're coming to us. Also doesn't mean we have to accept everything that they want us to do at this point either. But it's nice that the ideas are flowing there, and maybe from that we're able to build on some of that creativity that they have.
Mm. Well, Julie, this is definitely a subject that I think appeals to everybody. With the TikTok generation, everybody sort of being a star, and we had Alicia here in our company. Was like, I didn't realize she was a TikTok star until I saw her. I'm like, whoa, I got to learn from her. She can teach me what we got to do. She helped me create my brand to be better based on what I saw her do, and I think it's a synergy that I think we can learn. We're trying to always train our employees, but sometimes when it comes to this element of stardom, with today's social media, sometimes the employees can teach us a few things. Julie, what do you think of that?
Oh, I definitely. I mean, I'm the worst at social media, to be honest with you. So I'm always trying to call upon them to help me figure things out. Alicia, particularly, she is our one of the ones who is a star here when it comes to social media. So I love being able to ask them, what it is that we need to do to kind of stay I don't always know ahead of the curve on social media, but at least with the times of everything that goes on, because, that's a whole other element of it. It's like you can't always know everything as a business owner, and people are going to bring other things to you that you may not even be aware of out there that are going to be able to help your business get that brand awareness that you're looking for.
Yeah, I think what does it say about your company when the biggest problem is recruiting other employees? When all the current employees are out there in public saying how much they love the place, how does that impact something like recruiting, Julie? Would you say?
Oh, definitely. I mean, when really right now we have no problem recruiting anybody because when somebody is interested in our business, they've seen how the rest of our employees are. It's one thing that we hear over and over again is how it seems like every employee just loves us. And in part, this is why, because we do in part let them go out there and be the star of service MVP from that standpoint. I know we like to joke, you're the Mickey Mouse, of the company, but we've created all these other brand characters out there too, who really are their stars in their own right. And they're the ones who are helping us attract and recruit other new employees, which gives us that ability to really kind of hand pick who we want to bring on and who we might not want to bring on, so that we can continue to develop and give the kind of service that we really want to give our clients out there with the people we know are going to be able to do that going forward.
Well, Julie, thank you for being here today. Again, man, it's always amazing when the conversation goes by so quick like it did here today. Julie, any final thoughts and we'll wrap it up here?
Well, I guess, my thought as far as wrapping it up is I know a lot of people will probably be afraid, to really try to develop brands within their company. But I think if you can get yourself past that fear, what you're really going to find, and I know one of the reasons they're afraid is because it is always hard to find employees out there. But I think if you can see fit to get past that fear right now and just do this, anyways, help develop these brands, what you're going to find is you're going to have much more loyal employees who are going to want to stay with you, who are going to want to service those customers in the way that you want really to be serviced. And I always look at it like going back to my original comparison to college or March Madness this month in the NCAA. It's one of the longest fights that have been going on for forever, really, at this point, about paying college athletes. It's not that you have to pay your people extra money even to do this, but the fact that they have this opportunity to put themselves out there is really going to be beneficial to you and the company, and getting your brand out there and creating the loyalty, giving them the credibility that they need when they're in front of customers. And they're going to be much more confident and competent employees as well about what you're trying to, what your service is out there to the world, what kind of services you're going to provide out there.
That's really some truth there, because I think a lot of times there's a negative impulse, like, what if they just build this star and they leave me? Well, I mean, if you're a college team, you don't mind if you're building stars because there's other stars coming in. Remember, like if we're good at building stars, don't worry if one leaves. You can just build another one. That's you keep doing it over and over. It's like a cycle, everybody. It's not like something like that employee, has a birthright to stay here forever. We have to remember, if we build that brand and we make them better, remember, we're the ones who help build it, and that's going to be noticeable to the public, and also noticeable to other future employees. Julie, thank you so much for joining us here. Everybody, have a great one. We will see you on the next Service MVP podcast. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.